The province of the Eastern Cape in South Africa has some of the highest incidents of femicide and gender-based violence in the country. It is also one of the poorest.
My name is Thando George. I'm a Karen Collins Scholar under the Lee Day Scholarship. I received my LLB in 2020 and then I received my postgraduate diploma in human rights law last year in 2021.
Many of our students are from disadvantaged communities, and these communities have very high levels of violence in them. Domestic violence, intimate partner violence, and then of course sexual violence. This means that the violence has been normalized and is not found to be strange by the people growing up in these communities then.
In May 2018, Phagama George reported a sexual assault case at the University of Fort Hare after a lecturer forced her to perform oral sex on him.
When I was in my final year, we had two incidents. The first one was swept under the rug, but the second incident, the girl spoke out, and in her speaking out, the first girl also spoke out. And so when we first heard the incident, I think it happened on a Thursday or Friday, but I do remember that a weekend lapsed. And so Monday morning, there was still hush-hush. People were kind of, did you hear this happened? And we were surprised when we got to our lecture, out to our lecture, that the lecturer in question was present. And I think the first thing we thought was, but if there's something, if you are being accused of doing something, you shouldn't be here. Process calls for you to be at home and for a formal investigation to happen. And after that, a few of us, decided to do something about it. We're surprised that there was no sexual harassment policy in place, because the first thing we said was, okay, so what does the policy say? And there was none in place, which was very alarming considering that the university is over 100 years old.
So after weeks and probably months of going back and forth, of having to knock down doors because people weren't willing to, I don't know whether they didn't want to take it seriously or whether they didn't want a tool to exist that protected students and one that would obviously call them to account for their actions. So for many reasons, we can speculate, but we got the sense that there were people who didn't want a policy to exist. But we powered through as students, in the student body, and the students from across the board, from the students who were into politics, students who, were a bit more reserved, but who felt like, this was something that we had to have. We eventually won as students and we got the policy in place. But it was long, it was drawn out. I think, power will use tactics, they will try to wear you out. They will try to remind you that you're just a student, that this won't work, remind you of the many reasons why it won't work. But we powered through and we got through it. And today there is a policy in place. I guess our hope is that it's been used effectively, that it's been used to protect students. And what we wanted was for it to protect students, to protect staff members, and for people to have no place to hide, and for the policy to demand accountability from all spheres. So now I'm doing what I love. I'm working in the human rights space. I work with people who live in informal settlements in Cape Town. And so through my education and through my activism and my passions, I'm able to use my time commenting on policies that affect marginalized people who live in informal settlements. So I make policy submissions and provide research to Parliament on specific bills that impact the lives of those people. We also do litigation, we do advocacy work, we do rights-based education. So we really, are campaigning through a holistic approach. And I absolutely love my job. I love what I do. It's very fulfilling. And I can see that we're making great change and we're making great strides in ensuring that everyone enjoys this democracy we live in. That people don't just hear about it, but they actually experience. They experience the freedom. They live in a dignified manner. That they can be part of the economy. That they can be empowered. That they can live happy, healthy, productive lives. And that's what I want to use my talents and my skills towards.